What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. My name is Tonibryanne, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing why Black women seemingly hate their hair again. There has been a lot of online discourse about Black women in their hair and lack thereof loving their hair, according to a lot of other Black women that may like to indulge themselves with natural hairstyles, and them questioning why is it that Black women are constantly not wearing their hair, and what exactly happened to the natural hair movement that was so prevalent back in the early 2010s. Well, we have a lot to get into today's video because there's a lot of discourse that has been happening once again, and I also think it's a very important topic to have, especially when people are making such rapid accusations. But before we get into today's video, you guys know I like to start off with a little bit of positivity, so let's first start off with the quote of the day. Today's quote of the day is, "I am a magnet for prosperity and success." Today's verse of the day is Romans chapter 1, verse 17, and it reads, "For in the gospel, the righteousness of God is revealed, a righteousness that is by faith from first to last, just as it is written, the righteous will live by faith." Please be sure you guys are following me on all my social media platforms. I am on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube as well, where I talk about more personal things going on in my life. You guys can see more vlogs, see what a day-to-day in my life is like, and just have honest girl chat. I know a lot of you guys have been saying you guys want to see more of that from me, more vulnerability, so that is definitely an option available if you guys want to check out that channel. That is Toni Talks TV. I also have a podcast called The Decision Podcast where I interview people who talk about the one decision that impacted their entire life. It is raw, it is real, it is vulnerable, and I know that you will definitely love and appreciate it. And after the podcast, or even before watching it, and you think that you would be a wonderful guest to be on the show, the Google form sheet will be linked down below, but please remember you need to be in the Atlanta area or be willing to travel to Atlanta. And lastly, this show also is a podcast, so if you guys are listening in, hey, how are you? And if not, say you are typically busy and you want to watch a new episode that just dropped, all my episodes are available on audio streaming platforms. So we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon, along with an array of other audio streaming platforms. And yeah, I think that is all the housekeeping. So without further ado, guys, let's get straight into today's video.
Taking you in this moment.
So as I stated earlier in the video, I have been seeing a lot of videos primarily on TikTok with people questioning why don't Black women wear their natural hair? Or what exactly happened to the natural hair movement?
Most Black women are hiding this one thing. They hate their hair. I know, it's a touchy subject.
It may feel like we're right back where we started when it came to loving and embracing our locks and our curls, even though we've already had this conversation before. So I want to do a video why it may appear Black women don't like their natural hair. So let's take a walk down memory lane, specifically before the natural hair movement began. So if you guys don't remember, or if you're too young to remember, relaxed or permed hair was the standard. It was almost like a rite of passage for a young Black girl to go and get her hair relaxed. This was something that was done before school pictures, before the first day of school, before prom, before you had a very fancy event to go to. Straight hair was the standard, and getting that straight hair and maintaining it and keeping it was getting a perm. It was like you were kind of an anomaly if you did not have a perm. Like me, for instance, my mother never put a perm in mine and my sister's hair. She was always against it, and I remember I used to get so frustrated, like, why can't I have a perm? Because my mom had a perm. Then she ended up transitioning to natural hair when the natural hair movement was on the horizon, but I didn't understand it. I was like, I want my hair to be straight. I preferred my hair being straight because that's when I would get the most compliments. But she saw the damaging effects that came with perming hair, because perming your hair literally was a chemical, a very, very toxic and dangerous chemical. But a lot of Black young women and women got their hair permed despite the effects of it, because to society, having straight hair was considered professional. It was considered clean. It was considered the standard. So as a young Black girl got older and she wanted to go to school and she wanted to be in a corporate setting, she had to go ahead and get her hair permed or continuously straightened. And that was due to natural hair in contrast being seen as unkempt, unprofessional, your hair not being done, or just plain too much. I mean, think of your favorite celebrities, actresses, and singers back in the 90s and even the early 2000s. Their hair was typically always straight. They typically had it permed. It was always done. It was a standard to go ahead and get your hair done in the Dominican salon every 2 weeks. The salons were packed on Sundays. That was so customary to Black culture. However, it was thinning out and damaging our hair because, like I said, perming your hair was a very toxic chemical. And even if you didn't perm it, in order to maintain your hair being straight, you had to get it done multiple times with heated products. So you constantly putting heat to your hair was damaging it as well. Thus was born the natural hair movement. Okay guys, so I found this app that literally pays you for playing games on your phone. And not fake survey money, like actual money. Let me show you how this works because I tested it out myself. It's called Free Cash, a free platform where you can earn just by completing offers or playing mobile games. I decided to try a game out myself to see if it actually works. So I picked this game called Coffee Pack and I have been absolutely obsessed. I am addicted to playing this game. I play it quite literally all the time. And when I tell you it took me literally just about 20 minutes while watching TV and lounging to get to level 4, I am not lying. Once I completed level 15, I earned $10 instantly and I saw my balance go right up. I literally didn't expect it to register that fast. It is that easy. You can literally see it right here. You can cash out to PayPal or grab a gift card, and honestly, it's such an easy way to make a little bit of cash while you're just sitting at home chilling. So if you want to try it out, use my link or click the QR code on screen and you will get a $5 bonus when you start your first offer. I'm gonna keep on playing to see how much I can make in a week, so I will definitely update you guys soon. But if you want to see how fast you can cash out, try it out for yourself. And it's honestly kind of addicting. It's really bad. So around the early to mid 2010s, everything started shifting, it felt like. This was around the rise of blogging and being a YouTuber. So we were starting to see a lot of creators documenting and showing their natural hair journeys. There would be videos of people doing the big chop, cutting out their permed hair, and showing us how their hair was evolving and becoming a natural, embracing their curls, embracing their locks, and people were all for it. With us now seeing these creatives and all of their creative styles they would come up with. They were doing wash-and-gos, twist outs, perm rod sets, giving us product reviews on curly hair products and teaching us different methods in order for our hair to grow and flourish. That inspired a lot of women to go ahead and start transitioning. That's when we had movies like Nappily Ever After, Chris Rock's movie Good Hair. Those movies were coming out and it was showing us the damaging effects of us wanting to have straight hair, wanting to have permed hair. And once again, it was inspiring so many to go ahead and go the natural route when it came to their hair. Black women were ditching their perms, stopped getting sew-ins, stopped putting tension on their hair. There weren't as many quick weaves. The Dominican hair salon was empty. I remember when I went to go get my hair done during this movement, because I myself even started doing more natural hairstyles and I was getting my hair done less and less in the salon because my mom was no longer going because she did the big chop and she was transitioning her hair from being permed to natural. And when I did go to the hair salon to get my hair done, I believe for 7th grade, first day of school, the salon was empty and we never saw that. I remember every Sunday the salon used to be packed with young girls, with women, Black women, Hispanic women with curlier or kinkier hair sitting down to get their hair pressed out, getting their hair permed. I still remember the distinct smell of getting your hair permed, but it was radio silent. That was because the natural hair movement was on the horizon. This was a huge cultural reset. But over time, something definitely changed and shifted. The social media influencers, creators, and bloggers that were getting the bulk of the attention for embracing their natural hair, they had a very specific kind of natural hair. A lot of them tended to have looser textured curl patterns. They were mainly in the type 3 hair category. And if you guys don't know what type 3 hair is, there is this method that was put out there for people to be able to decipher what type of hair texture they have. It goes from 1 to 4, with each of the numbers having categories, starting at 1A to 1C, 2A to 2C, 3A to 3C, and 4A to 4C. The higher your number, the kinkier your hair is. 1 being straight and 4 being curly. And when it comes to curly hair, it goes from looser to tighter curls. And the looser curls, because they were more white adjacent, came across as more desirable. So with that being more desirable, the face of the natural hair movement definitely definitely catered to those women specifically. And unfortunately, it didn't reflect the full range of black hair types. Think of girls like Jada Doll. I don't know if y'all remember her, but she had this blonde curly hair, which we later found out she used to use a curling one to make it that texture. But it's almost as if she knew if her hair was a little bit looser textured or had more of that desirable look, she would get more views and get more attention. Think of Shameless Maya, It's My Ray Ray, even Naturelle. Yes, she was a darker skinned woman, but her hair was of looser texture. And there were so many black girls, myself included, that would try to emulate these styles that these natural hair creators, well, the big ones, were posting on their pages, and our hair wasn't turning out like theirs. Why, you might ask? Well, because we did not have their texture of hair, and that made us desire having that looser texture, so our hair looked more like theirs. And that's when texturism started to creep into the natural hair movement. People began associating good natural hair or curly hair with those looser textures. This was also the peak of the curly hair aesthetic. I don't know if you guys remember this era like I do, but this was like around 2015, 2016. Heck, I would even say like 2014 too. And there was this rise of Instagram models and these Facebook girls and these Tumblr girls that would get popular due to them having this big curly hair. Because remember, this was the rise of the natural hair movement, so people were embracing their curls. But there was a specific group of women that were getting more love than others. I remember people would make mean memes and content coming against women, like on how big your bun could get. Like if you had the bigger and longer curlier hair, your bun was bigger. But if you had tighter curls, your bun was smaller. So the girls would post how big their buns would get. Mostly Hispanic girls or lighter skinned girls, but mostly women that had looser textured curls. There were these little memes that would say, curly hair don't care, or I love girls with natural hair, or guys saying how much they loved curly haired girls. But the girls that they would post clearly had looser textured curls and also had fairer skin. So the entire narrative of having natural hair completely shifted. It went from embracing and loving what God gave you to only embracing it if you had more of the desirable hair features. And as I stated, texturism played a part, but I also believe colorism played a part too. Because most of the girls that were gaining a lot of popularity were lighter skinned, and they also had those looser texture of curls. Because for instance, Naturelle, like I said, is a darker skinned woman, and though she was huge in the beauty community, she wasn't exactly praised compared to these other ladies. There was this one girl, I can't think of her name. I think it was like Jasmine something. I can't think of her. But she had this really long curly hair, and it was like type 3 hair, so she got a lot more love than a Naturelle would have had. And this unspoken hierarchy, well, I think at this point it was spoken because a lot of people were making it clear what the preference was on social media. Women with thicker and coarser hair felt undervalued and unseen, even when the movement was meant to empower women of all hair textures, specifically black and brown women. Y'all see how racism always finds a way to creep itself back into anything positive? Like, it is so tiresome. So how exactly did this happen? Well, social media played a very prevalent role in this, and I briefly spoke on this a little bit earlier. When YouTube is pushing hair tutorials with people that have looser textured curls, it makes them seem to be more marketable, more desirable, and it's what led to advertisers to see the same exact thing. So these creators with looser textured hair, they were getting the big opportunities. They were getting all the likes. They were getting all the subscribers. They were getting all the followers. So that kind of made women that had kinkier hair feel less inclined to make content surrounding their hair too. And that was a domino effect because the women, just the regular women and young girls that were sitting back and watching this hair content that had coarser, kinkier hair, they were unable to find videos that catered to their hair. And myself included, I do have a looser textured hair, like I'm more of a 3C to 4A type girl, but my hair still gets shrinkage. I'm definitely more in the type 4 category. So when I'm seeing these girls with this long hair that can just put perm rods in, or if I'm just seeing these girls that can just wet their hair and walk out the door, something that I definitely cannot relate to, and that's all the content I'm seeing, it's going to have a very negative effect on you. you. You feel as if your hair is unmanageable. You feel like your hair is unkempt. And it takes us right back to where we started when this whole natural hair movement began. So when you can't find representation within your community, it's very easy to feel discouraged. And that led a lot of women and young girls to go back to sew-ins, to go back to wigs, and even braids as a middle ground. So then by around 2016 to 2017, you saw frontals making their way back in, and people were really hyping up getting wigs, mainly like colorful and fun wigs. You then started to see wig hairstylists get popular, and these IG girls that were wearing wigs now. You had your Ari Fletcher, you had your Jada Wada. You just had every IG girly, they were now wearing wigs, and then you were seeing wig tutorials on YouTube as well. So that was seen as like, okay, it's a good middle ground, you're still protecting your natural hair. But very slowly and surely, sew-ins and quick weaves started creeping back in. And I would say this was around 2020, where women began putting heat back on their hair. Sew-ins seemed almost unheard of for almost 10 years. I feel like you rarely saw women getting sew-ins. If you didn't see them rocking their natural hair, they were wearing wigs. And if they weren't wearing wigs, they were wearing braids. But nobody was putting heat to their hair. But very quickly, the purpose of the natural hair movement completely deteriorated. People stopped caring and thinking about preserving their curls. People stopped caring about not putting heat to their hair. People stopped caring about their hair in general. So I also want to make this clear that this was heavily about convenience too. Dealing with your natural hair is a lot of work. Natural hair care products are very expensive, and I think brands and businesses started seeing how much the natural hair movement was growing, so they started marking up their prices. So it seemed maintaining your natural hair was now super expensive. They were preying off of Black women. They were preying off Black women's vulnerability and learning to love themselves. Then also, if you have kinkier hair and people are making fun of it all the time, that's just gonna discourage you from wanting to wear and embrace your natural hair. So you're gonna do something to conceal it. You're going to wear wigs. You're going to straighten it. You're going to do everything possible in order to maintain a privacy on what your hair texture really is. And then we need to go back to corporate America. Corporate America plays a very pivotal role in this too. Even with Black women embracing and loving their natural hair, there still was implicit bias put on Black women when it came to them coming in for a job interview with their hair being natural. They didn't like people having locks in their hair. They didn't like your hair being curly. You were more susceptible to losing your job or not getting a job if your hair was natural. So in order to just make a living, you had to go down the route of getting your hair straightened or having it maneuvered in some way that was more acceptable in society.
Hey guys, this is editor Toni here, and as I was editing this video, there was a video that went viral on TikTok of a bottle girl, an aspiring bottle girl that wanted to wear her natural hair at the interview. And the amount of comments of people trying to tell her not to go to that interview with her curly hair, well, her natural hair, was insane.
I show up to an interview to be a bottle girl, and I look like this from the chest up. This isn't the outfit that I would wear, but like this is the kind of the makeup I would do. This is kind of the hair that I'd be hoping to do as well. It's for a club in New York. So I did a full glam beat, but I made a video yesterday talking about wanting to wear an afro for this job interview, and I've been strongly urged not to do that if I want the job. However, almost like a social experiment, I want to wear an afro just to see how it goes. Mainly because if the job isn't going to take me as I am, it's not really the job for me. And it's not to say I know that bottle girl service is like a superficial industry. Obviously, it's about looks, but to act like this doesn't look presentable or this isn't beautiful, I think is a lie. And I think my look stands out. I think I look good.
Now, I understand what people were trying to say in terms of the fact that in those industries, wearing your natural hair is not typically something that is accepted unless it is a certain type of texture. Once again, texturism in our community. But you can see that it is ingrained in the Black community that natural hair equals bad and having straight or manipulated hairstyles is considered good. This is something that has been going on for decades now, years now, even when we had the natural hair movement. And it also shows how complacent complacent we are in the state of the world and how people are when it comes to our hair. And I don't really think that we will be seeing change anytime soon.
For some women, it was easier for them to wear their hair in manipulated, easier hairstyles in order to avoid criticism, in order to keep their job, and in order to maintain their sanity. So here we are today in 2025, and it seems like the natural hair movement isn't gonna make a comeback anytime soon. I do see women getting away from wigs. Wigs are not as popular anymore. Honestly, a lot of women are now calling wigs ghetto, and they're saying that wigs are not professional and that wigs give you the baddie aesthetic. It's not classy anymore. So women are now wearing half wigs and clip-ins, and a lot of these half wigs and clip-ins now have curlier textures. So I do see in that way Black women are embracing their hair, but it's not just their hair. We're maneuvering it to some extent, and that's leading women today and even men asking, why don't Black women wear their natural hair? Well, Black women were bullied out of wearing their natural hair. We weren't told that we should love and embrace every coil and every curl, no matter how unloved that society may say it looks like. We are literally operated in a Eurocentric society to not love who we are, to not be able to even try to love who we are naturally, because society says it's not okay. But I also want it to be clear, a lot of Black women do love their hair. They do embrace their hair as well. It's just if you feel your hair is no longer being seen as beautiful or celebrated, you're gonna be inclined to wear it less and less. And I also wanted to be clear that it's okay for Black women to want to wear their hair in so many different styles. That's the beauty of our hair. We can wear it curly, we can wear it straight, we can wear it wavy, we can get extensions, we can put a wig on, we can do whatever we want with our hair. I think that's the beauty of our hair. And I think when we do try different styles and we do try straight, we do try wavy, we do try to do a little bob or something, I think that is us showing love and embracing our hair and the diversity of our hair. But instead of people questioning, do Black women love their hair? I think the question should be, does society love our hair? I can try to embrace and rock every curl and coil, but if you're telling me it's ugly, or you're saying that I can't get a job, or you're saying my hair isn't curly enough, why would that make me feel inclined to go ahead and rock my natural hair? We need to look at it on a deeper scope instead of blaming Black women. It's so easy to quickly and profusely blame Black women for the things that this very society tells us is ugly and not good enough. The whole concept of good hair is about having hair that's looser textured and adheres to more to Eurocentric beauty standards. So until all textures are equally embraced, we'll just keep cycling through this same conversation. Because quite frankly, if the natural hair movement does make a comeback, I guarantee you, as Black women start embracing their hair more and wearing it out natural more, society isn't gonna love it back, and that's going to cause us to revert back to having straight hair and manipulated hairstyles. But you guys, I of course want to know what you guys think in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on the rise of the natural hair movement? What are your thoughts on the current state of Black women in their hair? And what are your thoughts on the people that say that Black women don't love their hair enough and that we're the problem because we choose not to wear our hair in these styles? I, for one, love my natural hair, but I also love a good sew-in. I also love to be able to do fun and different styles with my hair. That doesn't mean I hate my hair. I wear my hair natural quite a bit, honestly, but I actually enjoy switching it up. But for women that have kinkier hair like 4C hair, that are told that their hair is ugly, that styles aren't good enough on them, and that they don't get a lot of representation on loving their hair, I would not be surprised why they end up opting to go ahead to get that looser textured hair. If society shows love and embraces that hair texture, I promise you Black women would love it right back. But if you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We are on the road to 300,000 subscribers. Fingers crossed we'll hit it by the end of this month. I think we need like 8,000 more or 7,000 more now. So yeah, please be sure you guys subscribe to my channel. And yeah, let's get the discussion going on in the comments down below. Love yourself, embrace your curls, and embrace whatever makes you happy. And yeah, I love and appreciate you guys so much, and I will see you all in my very next video. Love you guys. Bye. Mwah.
Taking you in this moment